Welcome back to the third video of 4 steps to writing an IELTS 7.0 essay. In the past 2 lessons, I've taught you about the structure of a 4-paragraph IELTS essay and also the importance of using cohesive devices. In the last video, I also gave you a valuable list of what I call power result verbs. Please try and use at least 1 or 2 of them in every essay. I also mentioned the importance of word patterns and using those verbs properly by understanding the word patterns for those verbs. I'm going to talk about that in this video. So let's begin. This video is going to be about vocabulary, in particular the importance of understanding word patterns and collocations. Most students wouldn't have heard of these 2 terms, yet it's important to understand them so as to do well in your vocabulary score in IELTS writing. We'll start with word patterns first. In English, verbs, nouns, and adjectives have certain patterns of use. What this means is that there are certain patterns that come after using verbs, nouns, and adjectives. Let's look at verbs first. Let me give you an example. Let's take the verb like. You could use this verb in this way. I like tennis. What if you want to put an action or a verb after like instead of the noun tennis? You could write, I like to play tennis, but you could also say, I like playing tennis. Is there a difference in meaning between these 2 sentences? No. You see, the verb like can be followed by a to plus base verb pattern or a verb ing pattern. By the way, when I mention base verb, I mean the main form of the verb without the ed, ing, or s. So we see 2 common patterns that come after a verb: to plus base verb or verb ing. Let's look at the verb enjoy. You could say, I enjoy playing tennis, which is using the verb ing pattern. But can you say, I enjoy to play tennis, which is using the to plus base verb pattern? The answer is no. You can say, I enjoy playing tennis, but you can't say, I enjoy to play tennis. For the verb enjoy, you can only use the verb ing pattern and not the to plus base verb pattern. So the question is, why can you use both patterns, verb ing and to plus base verb, with the verb like, but only one pattern, the verb ing pattern, with the verb enjoy? Do you want to know the answer? Well, it may surprise you. The answer is that there's no real reason. It's just the way it is. And don't ask me why that's just the way it is. Another important question you need to answer is, if there's no real reason for why some verbs have this pattern and other verbs have another pattern, how are we going to find out which pattern to use for which words? The answer? A good dictionary. Let me just talk about dictionaries for a while. Many students think that the only use of a dictionary is to help you find the meaning of words. That's all. If you think this way, you're dead wrong. Most students understand the meaning of many or even most of the words they read or hear. What they don't know, however, is how to use these words. In particular, they don't know the word patterns for many words. A good dictionary is important because it tells you the common ways of using the word and the common patterns for the word. This is very important. Everybody knows the meaning of enjoy, but not all know the word pattern for enjoy. Therefore, you need to not only know the meaning of a word, but also how to use it, what kind of word pattern it has. Let me show you the Macmillan dictionary entry for enjoy and like. Do you see how the dictionary tells you how to use both these words? It gives you the pattern for enjoy and like, and you can see that in addition to the verb ing pattern, with like, you can also use the to plus base verb pattern. My favorite online dictionary is Macmillan Dictionary, but the Longman, Cambridge and Oxford dictionaries are also very good and also give you the word patterns. But not all dictionaries are good. Let me show you some dictionaries you should avoid online. Here's the Merriam-Webster dictionary. They don't give you the word patterns. Or even this common dictionary, dictionary.com. Again, no word patterns, just the meaning. Finally, most bilingual dictionaries are very bad. Look at this one. Again, just definitions and no word patterns. Please avoid dictionaries that only tell you the meaning of the word and don't tell you how to use the word and which patterns to use for the word. I hope you realize the importance of using the word correctly and not just understanding the meaning of the word. Before I end this section on word patterns, let me go into a bit more detail. When we talked about the word patterns for like and enjoy, we mentioned two common word patterns, verb ing and to plus base verb. There are many others, but I'm going to talk about two more common word patterns. The first is to have a preposition after the word. For example, after the word listen, you can use a preposition like to or for. After the word laugh, you can use a preposition at or about. The other common word pattern is to have a that plus clause after a word. As mentioned in the previous video, a clause is simply a subject and a verb. Here are some words that use that plus clause pattern. One common word is believe. Here's the dictionary entry. As you can see, it uses the that plus clause pattern. So you can say, I believe that he is good. The word think also uses this pattern. So you can say, I think that the dog is cute. Let's go back to the think entry. Do you see the bracket around that? What this means is that using the that is optional. That's why in the sentence, what do you think he wants? It doesn't contain a that. You could also say, what do you think that he wants? For our previous sentences, you could also say, I believe he is good and I think the dog is cute. Very often we leave out the that in speech. It's not a problem at all. So let's quickly go through the 4 word patterns I mentioned above. Number 1, word plus to plus base verb. Number 2, word plus verb ing. Number 3, the word plus a preposition. Or number 4, the word plus a that plus clause. One thing I want you to take note of is that each word could have more than one pattern. For example, we just saw that the word think uses a that plus clause pattern. But there's also another entry for another meaning of the word think. Let's take a look at it. So here the word think can be followed by a preposition, both of and about. But you can also see that it can be followed by the to plus base verb pattern. So we realize that each word could have more than one pattern. This can get very complex and tricky, so it's important to go to a good dictionary if you want to make sure you're using any word properly. I've gone through the words like, enjoy, listen, laugh, believe, and think. Guess what? All these are verbs. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that nouns and adjectives also have patterns. When it comes to nouns and adjectives, 3 of the 4 patterns mentioned above are very common. 1, word plus to plus base verb. 2, word plus preposition. 3, word plus that plus clause. So let's go through some adjectives and nouns and see the various patterns that follow them. I'm going to show you some word pattern mistakes that my students have made. I've been teaching IELTS for more than 5 years, and so I've compiled the mistakes of many of my students. Let's start with adjectives. What's wrong with this sentence? It is common that people eat 3 meals a day. Let's take a look at the word pattern for the adjective common. This student used the pattern that plus clause after common. If you look at the dictionary entry for common, there isn't the word pattern that plus clause. Instead, you get this word pattern. It is common for someone or something to do something. The pattern for someone to do something is like a mixture of the preposition for and to plus base verb pattern to do. Therefore, the correct sentence is, it is common for people to eat 3 meals a day. Let's look at another word pattern mistake. The manager is responsible to increase the sales of the product. Let's take a look at the word pattern for the adjective responsible. This student used the pattern to plus base verb after responsible. If you look at the dictionary entry for responsible, there isn't the word pattern to plus base verb. Instead, you get this pattern. Responsible for. After responsible, you can use the preposition for. So the correct sentence would be, the manager is responsible for increasing the sales of the product. What about word patterns for nouns? Here's a student's sentence. The government should play a greater role to solve the problem of crime. Let's take a look at the word pattern for the noun role. This student used the pattern to plus base verb after role. However, if you look at the dictionary entry for role, there isn't the word pattern to plus base verb. Instead, you get this word pattern. After role, you can use the preposition in or of or s. Here, the best preposition is in. So the correct sentence would be, the government should play a greater role in solving the problem of crime. Here's another student's sentence. The approach to solve this problem is wrong. Students often make this mistake. Let's take a look at the word pattern for the noun approach. This student used the pattern to plus base verb after approach. However, if you look at the dictionary entry for approach, there isn't the word pattern to plus base verb. Instead, you get this word pattern. After approach, you can use the preposition to. This is very tricky because to can be both a preposition and part of the to plus base verb pattern. Here, it's a preposition. You should know that you need to put a noun or a verb ing after a preposition. Therefore, the correct sentence using the correct word pattern for approach is, the approach to solving this problem is wrong. Let's end this section with a real practical example of correcting word patterns. Here's an essay with 10 word pattern mistakes. I've already underlined the word that has the wrong pattern. I've made your work much easier by doing that. All you need to do is look at the pattern after the word because it's wrong. Then go to the dictionary and input the underlined word, then correct the mistake. I will put this essay in the document you can download. Take some time to do this correction. In the document, I will also put a link to a page for you to sign up for a video where I'll go through the correction of the 10 mistakes. I'm very sure you'll learn a lot through doing this work and watching my video. Wow, okay. This video has gone on for a very long time, and I haven't even covered what I wanted to teach regarding collocations. I hope you've learned a lot about word patterns. After teaching my students all this, many have told me how this has made them look at English very differently and how they are now more confident of using the words correctly. The first step to using words correctly is recognizing that there are different word patterns for different words. Then go to the dictionary to find out the correct word pattern for that particular word. I don't have time to teach you guys about collocations, but understanding and using proper collocations is very important. The term collocation is even mentioned in the official document about how your essay will be marked. Because this is so important and I don't have time to touch on this area in this video, I'm going to leave a link on this page for those of you who want to view a separate video, especially on the topic of collocations. Just click that link and then input your email, and I'll email you the link to my video on collocations. If you watched my previous videos, you will know that I'm giving away a free 30-minute one-to-one IELTS lesson with me worth over $50. One lucky winner will be selected for this free consultation. You can ask me anything you want and even get me to correct your IELTS essay through a recorded video call. I am totally yours for 30 minutes. In order to qualify, you need to do 3 things below. Number 1, like this page on Facebook. Number 2, share this page on Facebook. Number 3, write a comment about what you've learned from this video. But before you click post, make sure you tick also post on Facebook. You have to complete all 3 steps to stand a chance to win. I've also created a document that contains the teaching in this video and more information that will help you learn more about word patterns. It also contains the essay with the 10 word pattern mistakes for you to correct, and an updated essay, checklist, and a quiz. Just click the link on this page to get it for free. And finally, watch out for my 4th video tomorrow, which will be in your email. If you haven't subscribed to my video series, just click the button to subscribe to it. Before I go, some students have been emailing me about my classes. After every class, I compile feedback from my students. If you're in Singapore and thinking of attending my classes and want to know what others think of what I teach them, you can go to this link, www.ieltsuniversity.com/feedback-nov-dec-2015. And also, you can contact me at 9768-1054 if you want to find out more about my classes. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our last video.